Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to The Truth, where today we are going to be going over, my first year grading Zach Calzada. I believe that's how you say his name. He's more of an interesting prospect. He's a guy who his first year played at Texas A&M behind Gallimond. Um, he only played 3 games. But in those 3 games, he showed some things that were interesting, some flashes. Um, Kind of something that you want more to understand what he is as a player. And let this be known, this is not enough snaps to actually officially grade somebody. You need way more snaps than what he got. I think I only totaled him at 29. Like, you need way more. You need, 300s. That's the kind of amount of snaps you need. But what I'm going to do here is tell you what I saw in a very small sample size. Firstly, this is a guy whose pocket movement is surprisingly well. For a guy who's stepping in there, I was kind of shocked at how low rated he is, but how well his pocket movement is. This is a guy who handled pressure well. Then again, look, this was only 3 games, but in those 3 games, that's what I saw. He handled pressure well, he moved around, and he made the right throws. Exceptional on the run. Um, had some he had some read issues where he'd miss a read or the ball placement could have been a little bit better. But other than that, it wasn't bad. Like I said before, it's only 29 snaps, so I couldn't get an official grading on him. But it was a 55.1% grading for success rating. So, I mean, I wouldn't put too much value into that rating just because we didn't have enough snaps. But that's kind of what you looked at. His best game was against Lamar. He was, in my opinion, kind of where you want a guy to be. Where you're completing 2/3 of your plays, like 2/3 of your plays are successes. That's kind of where you want to be as a guy stepping in his first year. That's exciting. He still has more years to come. But yeah, nothing crazy. He didn't really commit too many major plays. He did have more bad/major plays than he did games, which isn't good. You'd like that to be less than the games you have, but hey, it is what it is. The good news is he wasn't 50%. Like, he wasn't like this guy's like, sometimes you get good plays, sometimes you get bad plays. It's like, well, I mean, there's things to grow. So it's gonna be interesting to follow his career for his next season and see how he improves or what he does. Getting past that, I want to talk about some things in the NFL. Firstly, Jalen Waddle getting a major extension. Now, why is this so impactful? Why did I specifically choose this one? It's because of his guarantees. Look, nowadays we're seeing guys get guaranteed a lot of money. It's not just about throwing the bag at him, it's guaranteeing the bag at him. He has a contract worth $84.75 million, but he's getting guaranteed 76. So that means no matter what happens, he is making $76 million. Now, okay, what ripples effects do that have? You look at teams like New Orleans, Dallas, eventually the Chiefs, who are going to have to pay their players. Receivers are getting paid a lot of money. It's going to be really interesting to see how these teams play, how it plays out, and how they're going to pay their players and how much they value their receivers, or if they think they can go draft more. Getting into my next topic, 6 post-June 1st trades that should be happening are moves. Jacksonville to Lattimore. I'm sorry, Jacksonville for Lattimore. I've gone back and forth with the Marshawn Lattimore thing. Do I get it? Yes, because you don't think he's a contender. You don't think the Saints are a contender, and you don't think that. How should I phrase this? And it will help. You'll think it will help their cap, which it will if it's post June 1st. My main thing though is like, and it's the one big thing is like, the Saints are a team who have to win 10 games or else that coaching staff is gone. Like, that's it. Like, they are on, like, even you can hear from their fan base, it's like, this is it. Like, if you don't make the playoffs, if you don't get those 10 games, it's it. It's kapoof. It's kablooey. You're done. So I'm kind of sitting here like, I get it. It helps clear cap. You get something small in return. I like the DBs that they have in that room, but it's just like, Cowboys, Marshall Lattimore, they don't have that in that room. Like, I'm kind of sitting here going, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if that's really the smartest thing to do unless you really get something that you really like, unless you really get a pick or a player that you really like in exchange. It's just, I don't know. And then I'll say Jacksonville. I'm more of a Houston fan. Derek Stingley, I think, Houston, I know the moves Houston made, but I mean, I feel like, man, Derek Stingley and Marshawn Lattimore would be insane. Raiders signing Stephon Gilmore. I can see that. Look, Gilmore's a 2. He's not a 1 anymore. I'm not saying he wasn't good or he isn't good. He's really good. It's just physically he can't keep up to that level. Now, he stepped up in Dallas and played really well last year when he needed to be, but he's not that every snap down guy that you value as going to be your number one guy. But no, I feel like it's great. I feel like there are a lot of teams that could go signing Stephon Gilmore. And I'd say this, I'd probably tell teams to sign Gilmore than trade for Lattimore because you have to take on that contract and you're giving up a pick. Well, with Gilmore, yes, you won't get the level of production, but what you will get is you won't have to give up draft picks. And that's future capital. You're just giving up cap now. It probably won't cost you a lot either. So if I were to tell a team, I'd probably say go sign Stephon Gilmore. Houston, Jacksonville, the Raiders. That's probably what I would say. Man, that Raiders defense is going to be good. Philadelphia Eagles trade for Cortland Sutton. I don't necessarily say they should. Here's why. We're not looking at the Eagles going, oh, they really need a receiver. It's like, no, they need a 3. They haven't found their 3, and they need a 3. Who's that guy? Who knows? But Philadelphia has a really good receiving core in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Now, who their third guy is, I have no idea. I don't know what that guy's going to be. I don't know if he's going to come out. I don't know. It was Quez Watkins for a little bit. Some other guys for a little bit. It was, I think, Julio Jones at one point. Man, I really don't know. But trading for a receiver, I don't know. Like, I'd rather them go sign like Michael Thomas. Like, yes, he's not going to play the entire season, but he'll be that 3 for you. He'll be that contested 3 guy, and you'll have a really good receiving core. But I also, coming in from the Broncos' perspective, I know he wants to get paid, and he hasn't shown up. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you do trade him. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, because at the end of the day, you want a receiver there. You want somebody there. Chicago Bears trade for Matthew Judon. Man, they already traded for an edge last year. Worked out well. I kind of want to see them build. And then if you're looking at the Patriots side, you draft the guys you have. Do you want to trade a centerpiece like Judon, who's played so well for you? I don't know if this works out for either positions, unless you get a haul for Judon. But then again, it's like, what team would you, Like, if this was the Panthers after they traded Brian Burns and said, hey, let's go get Matthew Judon, and then they have like an extra couple picks or an extra pick out of that, and they got cheaper, I'd go, yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. Like, I get that, but they didn't. That's really one of the only teams who I could see making that and going, yeah, that makes lots of sense. And with the Patriots going, hey, we just got a haul, but that didn't happen. So I'm kind of sitting there going, I don't know if it works well with both teams. Los Angeles Chargers trade for T. Higgins. This one makes sense. If the Bengals, it sucks. Like I said before, there's still receivers like Michael Thomas in free agency for both the Chargers and the Bengals. But you have options. But then he's not T. Higgins. He's not. Like, let's not play games. He's not playing as many games as T. Higgins. He doesn't have the production that T. Higgins has. This later in his career, earlier, yes, absolutely, I'd say sign Michael Thomas, but it's they're not the same players anymore. Um, I mean, health is the biggest thing because I still feel like he's a guy who can produce. It's just health wise, he isn't on the field. Um, Look, I think helping that receiving core out with what it looked like last year and the pieces they lost, I love the idea of drafting trading for T. Higgins. What is it going to cost you? And that's really the big question here because I think they could afford it. They could move some things around. They could make it work. But what is it going to cost you? Colts trade for James Bradbury. I wouldn't be surprised if this one happened. Look, the Eagles are a team who had plenty. I mean, they are. I understand that their secondary wasn't good last year, but I mean they hit that really well. Um, so I wouldn't be surprised if a guy got traded. And then when you look at the Colts side, they need secondary help desperately. I mean, they desperately need secondary help. So when I look at this one, I feel like this one would be the most likely scenario because it worked out well for both teams. I like this idea. Now, will it happen? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. It's kind of up in the air. We'll see. It's not something that's outright given. It is something where even though if it works for both teams still might not call and make that choice. That's really the big question here. But I think it's a good idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen. Scrolling down back to here we go. I just kind of want to talk about where we are as well in drafting and how much money these guys are making and how much they deserve it. Because look, no matter what people say about Drake May, how good of a quarterback he is, look, he's third overall pick. And he's going to make about $23.5 million within 14 days of signing his contract. That's insane. Now, he needs to be smart with his money. He needs to place in the right places. Don't spend it all in one sitting. Be smart. But he just made bank. Good for him. I hope everything works out well for him. But yeah, I just want to talk about how insane that is. That's crazy when we think about a guy's going to make $23.5 million, hasn't played a snap of football yet in the NFL. That's what happens when you ball out in college, though. All right, that's it. Let me know what y'all think. I'd love to hear from y'all. Thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all next.